Factorio has been conquered. I should never play this game again. But since I did spend a lot of time... Oh! Notice that Andy did this. Nice. You must have done this last night. Smart to put the defenses up there. Alright, I figured since a lot of time went into this factory and it's actually not that atrocious, we'll do a little demo for historical purposes before I uninstall this, hopefully forever. Oh, and look at that, the rocket just finished. So we'll end with the rocket launch, of course. So, overview of the factory. You wouldn't notice it. Actually, you would, because there's still some ore on the ground. This is where the starter patches were, which has been replaced with greater technology. The story of this is that it was a rail world preset with enemy starting area maximum size. I think is 6 times normal, which basically is like no rush 20. So that made it a little easier, and also I filtered. I probably went through like 50 or 100 seeds just looking for a starting sort of area that looked pretty cool. So I settled on this Wisconsin clone with the Lake Superior to the north and west, and then Lake Michigan to the east. Because I saw this oil and thought, oh man, that'll be really nice. Really convenient early oil that will not be attacked. And then, yeah, the point of this world was to use trains, which was a lot of fun. Some experimentations. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Got the Costco shopping center membership is not required. Need to know the IP to get in. Basically all the stuff here. Some of the stuff is a little bit farther south because we did it later. Also, I don't know how to do... there was an incident, by the way, with an active provider chest and nuclear fuel. So there's a lot of available nuclear fuel here. Which is good, because all of our trains run on it, of course. Maximum acceleration and top speed. I have no idea why there's a random low density structures assembler with no inputs. Okay. This is also a main bus sort of situation with the 4 belts of copper, which look pretty clean, and the 4 belts of iron, which are decent. Still looks somewhat clean to this point. We just routed one of them into some steel furnaces to make sure our steel was topped off earlier on. Not bad. It gets a little messy here because someone put the sulfuric acid production right in the middle of the bus. And and that was me, by the way. And then here's some junk chests. So it got awkward trying to run all of the iron and copper belts through, so I did some weaving, which unfortunately means that one of the iron belts is using these yellow undergrounds, which slows it down. But iron is never the problem in this factory, so it doesn't really matter. Let's see, some highlights. This is still the original red and green science location. Just sufficient. Yeah, I don't know what to do with storage chests, so I just spam a ton of them. There's some space. Labs, still the initial lab setup. Doing kind of a pyramid sort of thing. The oil production on hazard concrete, of course, which I think looks pretty good. This is fairly tidy, right? I don't know. One drop-off station for the crude oil. There's 2 oil outposts. Probably won't go to all of them. This is the first one, which is starting to run pretty low. Not building up the reservoirs. And then I added this one relatively recently, which doesn't have as many oil field things. But still... Oh, wait, why is this... automatic? Oh, yeah. Right. So I set the trains... This is hacky. And the actual most of the train stuff is actually pretty good, but the oil trains are a little hacky. Because it's on 2-way tracks. Or like a single track that's 2-way. 2-way up. So then to get to the 1, it goes left. To get to the northwestern outpost, and to get to the other one, it goes northeast, and then it comes down and around. Like this. But since trains have to go both way on a single track, what I just did was set to prevent deadlocks, like 2 trains meeting each other. I just had each one of these trains sit at the outpost for 90 seconds, while the other one, while they sit at home for only 20 seconds. So it basically guarantees that this one is going to go home. It's going to unload as much crude oil as there is capacity in the reservoirs. And this is hacky. It could have done it much better, but it's one way to solve the problem. So it's only it only spends 20 seconds there, regardless of the fluid contents. And the thing is, there's plenty of crude throughput here that it's never an issue. They'll be running low on it. So it gets back here in time, long before this one. So this could be tuned a little bit, but I added 90 seconds seems fine, because there's also trains coming from the northwest outpost, which shouldn't bottleneck if I did the chain signals correctly. Because if it's coming from the northwest, then this signal should stay red if there's any train anywhere down in the processing area, which means the northwestern train, which there's only one, should break here and wait. So, could be good, I don't know. So that's the oil processing, basically normal stuff. No coal liquefaction, although that would be a next step to get more, because I don't think there's the other easily. I guess there's this one. Pretty rich. Probably could work that one in. But there's this big coal patch, or medium coal patch, that the only thing we're using coal for with any regularity, I mean a little bit for the gray science grenade production, but basically it's just plastic, which I recently doubled our plastic and ran 2 belts through, because at the end doing the when I doubled the low density structures, as well as when I doubled the red cards, needed more plastic. So we are actually using some coal, but plenty to be supplied by a single train. Okay, so let's take a quick tour of the train unloading stations, which these are fine. They're not actually balanced that well. You can see that these chests have thousands of plates in them, while these ones are empty. That's a problem for someone smarter than me to solve. It doesn't really matter, because the belts are constantly full, always. But definitely some inefficiencies there. Same thing with the iron unloading. We just have a ton of iron. I think we've got like 4 trains fetching iron from the ovens and delivering it, and you can see in the parking lot over here to the west. Also, take your bets now on whether I get hit by a train during this demo. Parking lot for the iron delivery. Parking lot for copper delivery. just got way more of these resources than can be used. Actually, copper is the limiting thing right now. We can't make enough low density structures when it's fully kicked in. It's actually not fully kicked in right now. I'm building up cache of stuff because I'm saving this, delaying this rocket until the grand conclusion of the video. But normally, I need to, like, instead of 4 belts of copper, we need 8 in order to sustain all this stuff. Maybe 6, but probably 8. The Great British Baking Show is largely Andrew's design, which is pretty good. Other than this piece, which is necessary to make sure the production, adding it was important. But it looks really clean, I would say, and there's a pretty clever system here where there's some circuitry that's reading steel and iron. So it's basically checking, hey, wait, where's... I lost this. Oh, here. Checking these steel chests, and it's supposed to say, I don't know if it's still working, but it's supposed to say, oh, if these chests are empty, then turn on the steel production. Something like that. So yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure it's actually working, but it's fine. We just have so much of every resource at this point that it doesn't really matter, but it's a cool idea. And it was working at one point for sure. So yeah, we've got dedicated steel smelters over here, so that circuitry reroutes some of the iron plates to the steel furnaces. Smart. And look at all these trains. Bad luck. This video is going to take a really long time. Unfortunately, I think we could have gotten away with about half this number of ovens, but got efficiency modules in all of them because early on, before we got our nuclear up and running... Wait, where did I die? Here we go. Okay. Before we got nuclear up and running, power was a serious bottleneck. Nuclear, though, is up and running. These are Andrew's own designs. 3 and 4 reactor setups. Steam reservoirs. Working pretty good. Pretty good capacity-wise. The uranium setup here, these top 8 are doing Kovarex with the inserter-outserters on a loop, so they just keep looping indefinitely, and then the excess eventually builds up and makes it into these chests, which, I mean, there's just infinite of all of this stuff. Whatever, I don't know. Good enough. One thing I liked, I did the nuclear setup and, oh yeah, I ran out of walls, so I improvised. I mean, it's not super clever or anything, but I liked having a single train with a fluid wagon to do the sulfuric acid transportation as well as the uranium ore, all in one. Thought that was pretty tidy. iron. Concrete. This was Andrew. Andrew added this concrete factory when we needed to start doing the nuclear stuff. Pretty clever, I think, to put it out here. Because there's this stone patch up here, and then the iron patch here, and we didn't want to import iron ore. Seems kind of messy. So instead, just manufacture it out here, and then I went in later and added the train station to deliver the concrete here. Very nicely tucked in, very close to our iron drop-off, which unfortunately makes it, our iron... It's impossible to unload iron on both sides, which would be twice as efficient. But, I mean, look at... We just have so much, it doesn't matter. It's all good. Starter base. This is an embarrassingly low amount of... I did both of the copper ore outposts, and I tried things on both of them. This one I tried spacing out the drills, not for maximum... not getting maximum ore throughput, but just, fewer drills over the area, because I figured we'd just have enough and could just add more stations, which is true, but this is pretty embarrassingly low. It takes a really long time for these trains to fill up. The Great Copper Baking Show, just completely flooded with copper. Here's that oil we were looking at earlier. Hop a ride on this train. Oops. Wasn't one of the trains I wanted to hop on. Well, we've seen this, and now we get to see it again. Oh, let's watch this. Nice. When you upgrade your physical damage infinitely, then that's pretty effective. I like this strategy where you have requester chests with ammo and then a belt to feed all the turrets. It feels better to me than laser turrets, although lasers would be easier because you don't need to set up all that infrastructure. Okay, I tried this. I don't recommend this. The train stops inside the ore field, so the drills just directly put it into the cargo wagons. It felt clever, but it just takes so long for them to fill up that I don't think... I mean, it's just kind of lazy, and you get much lower ore throughput because the drills won't be running unless there's a train there. I mean, I guess you could just have a lot more trains. I don't know. Maybe it's fine. Maybe if I had 10 trains, so each one always had one waiting for it. I don't know. I guess it's okay. Another iron miner outpost. This is perfectly balanced. Look it up on Reddit. It's perfect. Textbook balancer. Red card production, which you can see currently. Green cards, man. Green cards. Blue cards. Needs so much copper. Actually, I'm surprised that the green card production isn't keeping up. It should be. There's added this second green card production, which is outputting a full blue belt. And this is the original green card production, which, yeah, it just doesn't get enough copper. Does not get enough copper. So what are you gonna do? Basically, I think if I were gonna keep playing this world, I would unload on both sides of the train and then run um, additional copper lines from the north. We've got 4 here, and run 4 more copper lines. But yeah, I don't know. There is space. It could be done. Could be done, but I need to stop playing this game. So yeah, if there was more copper being fed in here, I think it would be running at maximum efficiency. There's all the sciences, whatever. A nice mini Costco outlet for the robot stuff and the nuclear stuff. Pretty colors. Yeah, I think that's basically it. There's not too much interesting to say at the end. Let's launch a rocket and then watch everything click on again once the stuff gets required. Yay! So now with all the high density structures and rocket control units being consumed, all the other stuff will eventually click on. The rocket fuel is a little hacky. I mean, it's getting gophered over by bots from here. Because yeah, I mean, you know, doing the nuclear fuel plus the rocket fuel closer to the oil production belt, right? And then yeah, I don't know. I mean, probably where to go from here. If it's set on auto launch, there wouldn't be this huge reserve of stuff. It's only got this big of a buffer because I paused the rocket to do the demo. So yeah, if I put this back on auto launch, eventually the high density structures are the bottleneck right now. There's just not enough copper to do all of the green card and red card production, and then also have sufficient copper. You can see already the copper, it's not enough. That's okay. It's a pretty good run. Launch one more and then call it the end. Did I forget anything? Oh, some friends. Prioritize fortification over beautification. Oh yeah, I ran to get the sulfuric acid down to the uranium train. I mean, I don't know who put the sulfuric acid here in the belt. It's fine, whatever. But I thought this was clever. I wanted to run it down, but this, oh yeah, this used to be where all the rocket and nuclear fuel and concrete production is where the original power plant with the steam engines was, which is all gone now that we're up to nuclear. But at the time, it was impossible to even conceive of running sulfuric acid down through this area. I mean, it ultimately did get run down on the belt for the blue cards, so there's that. But at the time, I terraformed some of the pond to put the underground pipes over it, which that's about standards. Like, you don't have infinite stone. A lesser player would have terraformed an entire path down, but I figured, okay, we'll just do the minimum possible. And then run it with undergrounds. Underwaters in this game. Oh, it launched another one and I was in the map. I didn't even notice. I think, right? The engine have, yeah. Oops. I was going to show one more rocket. I think I have sufficient buffer that I can launch another one pretty quickly. Actually, yeah, we can see there's basically no copper getting to the high or low density structures up here anymore, and there's some getting to these, but it's not nearly enough to crank them out at the required pace. Most of the copper is getting consumed to make all the green cards and red cards needed to make the blue cards to do this game. Also, there's a tree here that somehow didn't get knocked down, so we decorated it, commemorated it. Yeah, this is funny. This, I don't want to miss the rocket again. There used to be a coal input here to make explosives run from here, but I removed it because I thought it looked bad, and also I needed to add the second plastic line. So now these don't function anymore. Just kind of a fun Easter egg. Interesting, so we actually ran out of rocket control modules first. Despite there's clearly no lack of speed modules or blue cards. Yay. Alright, well, if you actually watched this to the end, you're probably me in the future. or let's go do something slightly more actually productive with our time. Okay, bye.